Come on in. Father, we thank you today for chapter 12 of First Chronicles, a chapter that I've never read before in my life up until this prepared day. And thank you that you have shown yourself to be God again. You are good, and I got the word to prove it. And I thank you for all that you are doing in my life. And I humble myself as I come before you as King. Father, thank you for every listener. Thank you for everybody that is taking the time today to get into your word and to try to find out what did you really say. Because people they say so much about you, but I said, Lord, what did you really say? He said, read me and find out. And that's what I'm doing. Thank you for telling me to read, and I thank you for allowing me to read. Bless my effort in what I'm trying to convey according to your word, and help me to say those things that are edifying, and let me see the things that I'm supposed to see, even beyond what I studied. And if there's anything in here that I didn't see, make it clear to me. Anything that I say that may not be correct, then I will bring correction based on not doing it right. Thank you for trusting me with your word. And thank you for your word being trustworthy. Father, bless everybody that's listening, whether today or in the future. Let this word come alive and off the page into every church in our black communities and our community that are not black. Just let your word be magnified. And thank you for leaving and preserving it for us. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. So I'm getting ready to go into second chapter 12. And in Chronicles, I play me some music like I'm in the lounge of God. All right, let's get in here. All right, we're going to get ready to talk about David. And David was not, when God has called you to be something, you may not be recognized as that. David was called to be king as a teenager. And all that he did, they may not have, it may not have given him the title king. No folk were watching David. And when God anoints you, he's not waiting on the revealing for you to see it. God started working on that, what he said, the moment that he said it. The moment that God says what he says, he started working on that case. If you put a seed in the ground, that seed is not going to wait till you see it to say, I'm a seed. Oh, here I am. That seed start doing whatever it takes underground. Worms get back. Whatever you're trying to wrap around me, I got to come through. Whatever the process is, the moment that we open our mouths and began to pray, and the angels began to go to work and start making that thing manifest. But what happened to me, and perhaps you, is that we don't see it, so therefore we don't believe it. But believe you me, what we getting ready to look at today, God was at work and he was on David's side. All right, Saul was the first king, and God rejected Saul. Saul didn't want to follow instructions, so God said, he told Samuel, go anoint over there in that house. And Samuel went to the house, and he said, I went through, I think 6 of these guys, and nobody, you ain't the one. And he said, it's got to be somebody, because I know God sent me here. And he said, I got one more. You want him? He said, I got to do it. I know God told me to come here. He said, I got one. He back there in the back. And David's daddy, Jesse, he was like, I'll get him. Somebody go in there out there and tell David, Samuel want to see him. And you know what David was doing that God liked, that I think would be attractive when we get ready to get somebody? David was working. He was at work. He was young, but he was out there doing his job. And God said, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody working and occupying and doing things, and then I'm going to take you out of where you are, and I'm going to bring you into where I can use you to make my name big through using you, because you ain't lazy. So I don't know what the other guys were doing. His brothers, but anyway, they were not the one anyway. So we're getting ready to see how David was treated, because David, look, David, like, I'm back here doing my thing. I don't even know why, now that Saul has been rejected and God has anointed David, and Saul saw the excellency of David in everything he did. When he spoke, when he came and said, I'll kill that big giant, and when he played that harp, David was good at what he did, and Saul saw something in David, and people can see something in you. When people see something in you, they don't want to admit it, but they ain't blind. They can see something in you. So what do people do when they know God's hand is on you? Stuff they shouldn't be doing, discredit, illegal stuff that discredit. They start doing things to discredit you. So let's go see what happened to David in chapter 12. This is beautiful right here. Now these are they that came to David to Ziklag. This is what David was. See, Saul had made David so tired. David was, I'm trying to do you right. I could have killed you. I didn't. I don't want nobody else talking to me about you, and I don't understand why you're doing me like that, but you don't treat me right. But I'm tired. I'm tired of you poking on me, Saul. It don't make no sense. I got your back. I love you. I treat you like a king. And when I was right next to your neck, I could have cut you, but I didn't. And you still want to fight me, and I keep looking at myself, what have I done? Are you trying to make me doubt myself? And David went over there and said, you know what, I'm going to stay over here with the Philistines. I'm tired, because I know if you come up in here, I feel protected with the enemy. I'm so discouraged until I ain't praying, and Lord, I'm just going to find me a hiding place. And he found it in Ziklag. Now these are they that came to David, to Ziklag, while he yet kept himself close because of Saul, the son of Kish. I got to stay out that man. I got to stay out of Saul. Got to stay out his face. So he hid out in Ziklag, and guess what God did? People started leaving Saul and going over to Ziklag to find David. Some people knew David was anointed of God. So they left Saul knocking on the door of the people of Ziklag. David, and they said, yeah. Now then they came in. Let's see who these people were. While he yet kept himself close because of Saul, the son of Kish, and they were among the mighty men, helpers of the war. He was no lazy guy. When God has his hand on you and you need help, and he know he has an assignment for you, he's going to send the right kind of folk to you. David didn't go soliciting these people. God said, go over there with David is. And he called them, guys, I need you to go over there. Yes, Lord. Mighty men. How did they show up? They were armed with bows, and they could use both right hand and left, hurling stones and shooting arrows out of a bow, even of Saul, brethren of Benjamin. We left Saul, and we are ready to fight. I can fight you with a shield in my right hand, and I got something if you need to be the left hand. So we came to help you out, David. David did not hide. Look at God. God understood why David was hiding. And he still sent him help, even when he was discouraged. Don't count God out. This is the beauty of this thing. David don't want to be in Ziklag, but he's forced there because it's only so, David is like, it's only so much I can do, Saul. I don't want to kill you, and anybody try to hurt you, I'll kill him. That's how much I honor you. But you want to hurt me. So then God said, I got to prepare y'all for war. Go over there, stay with David until I tell y'all what to do next. So who were these people? The chief was Ahaziah, then Joash. He said, these some good folk. The sons of Shema, the Gibeonite, and Jezael and Pelet, the sons of Asmavat, and Berakah, and Jehu, the Anatotite. Who else came to see David? And Ishmael, all these mighty men, these men that, like, if I shoot you, you good as dead. And Ishmael, the Gibeonite, a mighty man among the 30, and over the 30, and Jeremiah, and Jahaziel, and Joanna, and Josabad, the Gerderite. Who else came? Eluzai, the Jeremoth, and Beliah, the Shemariah, Shephatiah, and Haraphite. Who else came? Elkanah, and Josiah, and Azriel, and Joezer, and Joshabeam, the Korhites. All these guys were FBI, I don't know what they were just the high class people that were straight shooters, people that were trained to kill. See you from a distance and aim at you and shoot you straight down. God was sending these guys, leaving Saul, knowing that their lives could have been cut off, and said, we're going to fight. We got to beat up for David. God called us to David. And they left where they were and said, I'm going to David. Who else came? And Joelah, and Zebediah, the sons of Jehoram, Gedor. And of the Gadites, the people of Gad, they separated themselves unto David into the hold, to the wilderness, men of might. So David had the Gibeonites, and now he got the Gadites. And make sure I got this right. Well, these were the brothers of Saul, brothers of Benjamin, and then the Gibeonites, and then we get down here to the Gadites, looking for this man named David who was discouraged. That let me know that even when you're doing what God called you to do and you get discouraged in your walk with God, He said, I'm setting you up even in the midst of you being discouraged. So that means God said, it's, to me, it ain't no discouragement. If you hanging there with me, just know that I got you. The day that you said that you wanted me, God said I showed up. Can you trust me? Even in the midst of still doing what God said do, but you're tired, God said, I'm going to send you some help. And the Gadites there separated themselves unto David, unto the whole of the wilderness, men of might and men of war fit for the battle, that could handle shield and buckler, whose faces were like the face of a lion. In other words, probably harem looking men that looked at them, you knew these guys was like, make me think about guys that be on a motorcycle. A lot of guys on a motorcycle. I don't know if they look like that, but that's what I'm looking at. Face were like faces of lions and were as swift as the roe up on the mountain. God said not only did they look like they were vicious, they were quick with it. God said, I got you some strength that's coming. I understand your discouragement. And it reminds me of when Jesus went to the Mount of Transfiguration and Moses and Elijah met him there. Because he was like, I got to go. He said, they were like, Jesus, we got you. And even when they wanted to, Jesus told them, said, look, let me tell y'all something. If I was to tell my daddy to come and get me, he'll send legions of angels to come get me. You know, let me do what I got to do. And God has sent legions of soldiers in a discouraging time, that when a good man is being hunted down by a rejected man, his brother, Saul. When David got tired, David said, I'll go hide. I'm back here in the field, and the Philistines are over here in Ziklag. God said, I know where you are. Them guys left Saul, mighty men that fight for Saul. They said, we ain't on no team like that. You know, like if you're a football player and you have what they call a right to be traded, I don't care about nobody looking at me. I'm going where the winning team is. And this is what these folks were doing. So who came out there to see David that looked like a lion in the face and swift as a deer, a roe? A guy named Ezra the first, Obadiah the second, Eliab the third, Mishmanah the fourth, Jeremiah the fifth, Attai the sixth, Eliel the seventh, Joanna the eighth, Elzabad the ninth, Jeremiah the 10th, Macbaniah the 11th. 11 guys says, these were the sons of Gad, captain of the host. One of the least was over 100. He said the least one was over 100. And the greatest said, I got 1,000. In other words, we're so strong, and to the weakest one of us, over 100, and the greatest can take care of 1,000. God is, boy, I got you, even when you're down. So don't even think about, God is like, what the word said, I'm nigh you, I'm near you. I'm sending a force to help you out. Oh, you coming out of this, David. I want you out. And get where you want to be out. These are they that went over Jordan. David says, God is still just flooding. Help coming from all areas. These are they that came over Jordan at the first month, when it had overflown of his banks, and they put to flight all them of the valleys, both toward the east and toward the west. These guys said, if we got to swim to you. If I gotta swim, if I gotta walk, if I gotta run, I'm coming. And there came of the children of Benjamin and Judah to the hold unto David. Still coming. Blessing still coming. David, you would think that David discouraged. God was like, I can't deal with David. He over there hiding. God said, I understand when you had enough and you just don't know what to do. I got you, David. So here come Judah and Benjamin. And David went out to meet them and answered and said unto them, he said, hold up. If you become peaceful, are you coming peaceably unto me to help me? Or, this is what it said, if you become peaceable unto me to help me, my heart shall be knit unto you. But if you come in here to start something, if you come in to betray me to my enemies, seeing there is no wrong in my hand, the God of our fathers look thereon and rebuke it. He said, Benjamin, don't you come in starting up. Judah, don't y'all starting up. You coming in peaceable, and then I got you. We can become knitted, close. But start here, and I'm going to let God have you. And you know if God gets you, you got it. And they replied, then the Spirit came upon Amasa, who was the chief of the captains, and he said, you are we. You're part of us, David. David, and on your side, thou art thou son of Jesse. He said, we come to you in peace. Peace be unto you, and peace be unto your helpers. For your God helped you. Then David received them and made them captains over the band. He said, that's all I need to know. What you coming for? Why you looking for me? You want to help? I want it. Then he said, y'all can be captain over this. And there fell some of Manasseh to David. Look at God sending all these people to a discouraged guy. If you are in line with God's word and you are tired and you are discouraged, but your motivation, your heartbeat is still saying, I'm beating for God. But your physical body is tired. God said, I got you. Look at all these guys coming to help David over there hiding from Saul. And there fell some Manasseh to David when he came with the Philistines against Saul to battle. But they helped them not. And there fell some of Manasseh to David when he came with the Philistines against Saul to battle. But they helped them not. For the Lord of the Philistines, upon advisement, sent him away, saying, he will fall to his master Saul to the jeopardy of our heads. So what happened here is the Philistine was getting ready to go attack Israel. And David said, I'm going with you. I'm going to fight you. I mean, Saul ain't treating me right. And then the Philistines told the king, David ain't going nowhere with us. That's all. That's right down God alley. David was willing. He was so tired until he was getting ready to make a mistake. And God said, no, I know you're not in your right mind. I ain't going to let it happen. So the advisors of the king told him, said, tell David get on back to Ziklag. He ain't going nowhere with us. Because he get with us, We trying to fight, and then they coming behind us, and then we fighting folk in front of us. We be closed in like a sandwich. So tell David to go on back, king. And the king had to tell David, with all these strong men, y'all going on back. He said, my advisor said, y'all can't go with us. David was getting ready to do wrong, and God said, no, if you were at yourself, you wouldn't even be doing what you're getting ready to do. And I'm going to help you out. I've sent you all these mighty warriors, and you're getting ready to make a mistake, and it's not going to be in your best interest to do it. So since I know you ain't thinking quite right, I'm going to send you on back to the house. So I got to spray some on my leg. Like me. All right. As he went to Ziklag, there fell to him Manasseh, Adnah, Jagabad, Jediah, Michael, Josabad, Elihu, Zaptiah, captain of the thousands that were of Manasseh. What did they do? And they helped David against the band of the rovers, for they were almighty men of valor and were captain in the host. God said, when you're weak, I'm going to send you somebody strong. You get weak, I'm going to send you some help. You get to the point you just, I'm tired, Lord. He said, I got you. Well, you know, he said, even in your weakness, I look good when you're weak. So what does that mean to us today? God knows how to orchestrate right people that's supposed to be right there to help lift your arm up. When the children of Israel had just left Egypt, and these low-down folk knew that these folk were tired, came in there and started hurting those folk, and Moses had to get to fight. He said, we just got on the road, and God allowed, Moses was holding up his hand, and as long as his hand was up, they were winning the war. And then Moses got tired. And then God sent somebody strong enough to say, hold your hand up like that, Moses. God will send you some hands, somebody to support you in your weak time. God said, I help my weak soldiers. So ain't no giving up on me. You got the right mind, and your flesh is weak. He said, I still got you. When Jesus was at the point where his tears was like blood dropping down, he said, God said, I got you. And these are the numbers of the bands that were ready armed to war and came to David to Hebron to turn the kingdom of Saul to him according to the word of the Lord. The children of Judah that bare shield and spear were 6,000. 6,000. That means God knows every name of the person that's supposed to be in your life. He knows them by name. He said, these, you got 6,000. I already counted. The children of Judah that bare shield and spear were 6,800 ready armed towards David. David is discouraged. He said, but we came to help you. Look at God sent all them folk. All I see God has said, just don't give up. I understand if you get tired. Just don't give up. I got somebody that got your back. Of the children of Simeon, mighty men of valor of the war, 7,000. 6,000. 7 more thousand, David. Of the children of Levi, 4,000. He said, I ain't done. Of Jehoiada was leader of the Aaronites, and with him were 3,000, 6,000, 4,000, 3,000, 8,000. And Zadok, a young man, might of valor in his father's house, 22 captains. You don't need but 22 captains of those folk. And of the children of Benjamin, kinfolk of Saul, 3,000. These guys, God was like, I got your back. I know you know me when you're happy, but when somebody keep beating you down, I got your help. I'm good at fixing things. I'm good at healing people. Benjamin, the kindred of Saul, he had 3,000 more, David. But hitherto, the greatest part of them had kept the ward of the house of Saul. He said, I'm getting these folks right out of your enemy's hand and sending them to you. They ain't got no business dealing with Saul no way. Saul is rejected. And these guys that work in Saul's army is coming over here to help you. The army men know they already know I have rejected Saul. They said, we don't go to war working for somebody that don't follow God's instructions. And of the children of Ephraim, 20,800. mighty men of valor, famous throughout the house of their father. This is God sending somebody to a man he got planned to raise up to be king, because Saul didn't like it, and God said, I need 20 more thousand. They said, we're here, Lord. Go help our David. Oh. And of the half tribe of Manasseh, 18,000. God said, well, it's going to look like I'm in charge when I get through sending you here. Brother, go on, stay encouraged. And of the half tribe of Manasseh, 18,000, which were expressed by name to come and make David king. We getting ready to crown you king, David. We're going to help you fight. And then guess what? You're getting ready to be king over all of us. And of the children of Issachar, which were men that had understanding of the times. God said, not only am I going to send you people that can fight, I'm going to send you somebody that got good sense, that can advise you about what's getting ready to happen, or is it time to make that move? You ain't even got to think, Dave. I already know what I'm going to do with you. But I'm going to send them folk out of Issachar, and I've given them how to I let them know what's going to happen. Is this the right season during the corona? What should you need somebody with a word from the Lord, not somebody to fight. We need to hear something from God. And God said, Issachar, I got that guy ready to advise people what to do during hard times. That's Issachar, which were men that had understanding of the times to know what Israel ought to do. We ought to be praying, Lord, who can you send us that know what to do during these mask times? These unfamiliar times. What's our next move? Should we stay at home? Should we wear the mask? I know God ain't telling us to fight. He said, no, all you need is understanding. And I got people that's ready to give you an understanding if only you'll listen. Oh, but when I get ready now, I'm going to help that person I'm going to raise up. I'm going to send them a force of so much help and in the midst of all that weaponry, I got some smart guys up here. And all their brothers were at their commandment. These guys said, we're coming with an understanding, and we command people that's helping us, and we tell them what to do. You got that too, David. He said, I ain't done, David. I'm sending you more help. Of Zebulun, such as went forth to battle, experts in war. These guys were experts. You ever seen an expert in war? These people have been trained while we sleep. They up trained and getting up, moving, jumping, doing whatever, can shoot, targeting, understand, they understand the air, they understand the water, they understand the land. He said, of Zebulun, such as went forth to battle, experts in war, with all instruments of war, 50,000, 10,000, 8,000, 3,000, 7,000, 200. Because I don't need that many of those. Because these guys with Issachar, how many was that? 200. He said, these are your thinkers. Everybody else, I need to be your fighters. And they all coming now not only to help you out, but they were getting ready to, you running from Saul, and you hiding, but God said, I'm trying to make you king. They going to fight if they have to, but the bottom line is, anybody try to hurt you from being what I ordained you to do. When they were trying to tell Paul, pull him to the left and pull him to the right, God sent the Navy, the Army, the footmen, for one man named Paul. Go get this done, Paul. God said, this ain't the first time I had to make a move. Because when I make a move, I send the best. He said, of Zebulun, such as went forth to battle, experts in war, with all instruments of war, 50,000, which could keep rank. They were not of double heart. He said, man, we with you. We ain't got Saul up. You's the king. You the king. God said, these ain't no double-minded folk. When I show you up somebody, if I put somebody in your life and I told you they were sent by me, they ain't double-minded. I don't play that. I don't play double-minded stuff. I don't play confused. I ain't the author of that. My book is not confusing. If you read it right, you'll love it. And of Asher, I ain't done, David. I want all these tribes to know who I'm putting in charge. And I got the best people. Because if anybody think they get ready to stop you from doing what I say do. And of Asher, such as went forth to battle, experts in war, 40,000. They still come and get this boy to be king. And David looking at it like, me? He's doing all it. See, the other day, these guys went and got David some water that he wanted to drink. And David took that water and said, I can't drink this. He said, y'all put y'all lives on the line. They were 3 of the mighty men. God said he sold 3 mighty men's gift from him. And I'm sending him thousands upon thousands. Three men. And they went and got David a bottle of water. From the water, a taste of water that he desired. And David said, I can't drink this. And in the next chapter, he said, I'm sending you 1,000. You gave me 3. And now you got, count them, David. You submitted. When you thought these guys were protecting you, that's why when God says, when you take things from people, and you know that it ought to belong to me, he said, give it to me. You sold a bottle of water, and I'm giving you men that don't play. Thousands and thousands. Anybody read this word, you getting ready to get. Not to see, these are not the scripture that the enemy would tell you. I don't understand. Take your time and read it 4 or 5 times until God put it into you, until it makes sense to you. This thing, this is a man being given all of this help, and he was discouraged. But he didn't quit. God said, I got your back when you discouraged. When it looked like what I promised would never happen. He said, I'm God. I won't tell lies. He said, I wish people that can read better than you, Bruna, would get in the word and just read it. But you do you. And I'm not intimidated by these names I can't pronounce. But I know what's behind these names. It's nothing but help. God said, I ain't done reading the next verse. And on the other side of Jordan, of the Reubenites, because you got some people living on the other side, Reubenites and the Gadites and the half tribe of Manasseh, with all manner of instruments, they ready to fight too. Of war. God said, when I raise you up, I show up. These folk on the other side of the water, they came for about 120,000. You put $3, that's all you had. That woman that Jesus said gave all she had, I wonder who that woman is. He said there was this widow woman, she came in and she didn't have much. And Jesus said, and he was watching her put that stuff down. I wonder who that lady is. Because I know if she sold anything and Jesus saw it. She said, don't worry about who I am, Sister Bruna. I'm too blessed. All these men of war that could keep rank, all these guys that could keep order, came with a perfect heart. They ain't no double-minded, I'm going to try to take his place and I don't like it. There wasn't nobody talking like that. These folk were sent from God in behalf of a discouraged man named David, who God had anointed to be king. He says, it's time now. All these men of war that could keep rank came with a perfect heart to Hebron. Went down there where David had been king, where David lived, to make David king over all Israel. And by this time, David was king 7.5 years. But them God said, now I want you to be the king for real, over all of Israel. All of them. And the only way you can know all this, you got to understand what happened before chapter 13 of Chronicles. And God said it's everything that happened. A wise man, gonna read it right, and he gonna understand what's going on. David had been king. Saul is now dead. And now they're getting ready to crown David king for real. And they took all these men, serious-minded, one heart, people that one soul knitted to David. And there they were with David 3 days, celebrating, eating and drinking, for their brothers had prepared for them. Everybody that wasn't fighting was in there cooking. They were preparing for this great big old celebration. 100,000. I can't even go back over. I should have got my calculator and said how many folk was there. But every last one of them was there, and they were not anybody. These were renowned fighters and people that can understand times. And they were all coming to help a man and say, you got to be king. And God set it up. I love God. And that's in this life. I wonder what David said, Brother, hang in there, because the world will come. In this life, I had that. He said, the afterlife, you don't miss out. He said, God got you even when you did. I can't help but say somebody discouraged. He said, but you discouraged is not the same thing as letting go. Discouraged means I'm hanging in there. I'm tired. God said, I got you. I will send thousands to you. That's just how much I want you. And David was getting ready to do the wrong thing. God said, no, I got you. Don't worry about it. I'll turn you around just because I know you're not really at yourself. And there they were with David 3 days, eating and drinking, for their brothers prepared for them. Moreover, they that were near them, even unto Issachar and Zebulun and Naphtali, brought bread. They didn't say, we ain't bringing no weapon. Y'all got that, but y'all going to be hungry. So Naphtali, Zebulun, and Issachar said, we got the bread. God said, I got the force. I got what you need to fight. Then I got you somebody preparing you something. This table is set. I have never read this chapter before in my life until the study of it yesterday and the study of it this morning. And I'm delivering what God has given me. And I knew it was going to be good. And it's good. Moreover, they that was near him, Issachar, Zebulun, and Naphtali, brought bread on asses. What else they bring? They brought bread on camels. They brought bread on mules and on cows, oxen, and they brought meat. They brought meal. They brought cakes of figs and bunches of raisins and wine and oil and oxen. Oh, we finna barbecue. We finna sit down and David is king. Just imagine when Jesus comes. The loads of things that's going to be celebrated with those who, in the midst of all of this going outside, and it's so sad that you go on on Facebook, they got this thing like you could just look at what's happening, folk fighting and cussing and hitting, and he said, but I still got people in my word, and they still trying to get the word out. It's a party coming. And I was listening to somebody teach this morning, and I keep praying that we stop talking good talk like we encouraging people, and just let us hear what did God really say. This is what he said. I'm encouraged just by reading it. And these folk talking about getting ready to fight, and then said we're going to have a party going on for the crown David King. That's encouraging to me. I ain't thought about nothing. Let me just talk to them about, I'm scared of that kind of teacher. And wine and oil and oxen and sheep abundantly. When God says abundantly, that means everybody going to eat. For there was joy. They got a new king in Israel. God said, he said, if I set it up, I'm going to supply all that you need, and you're going to be happy. That's word, Maurice Williams. Gotta go. I want to look at chapter 13, see what's going on. Love y'all. Bye.